Hi, my name is Faye Kuzman, and I'm the horticulture agent at the Woodford County Extension Office. Today we're going to talk about building a raised bed. The bed that we're going to build is a 4 foot by 4 foot by 6 inch deep bed. And first I'm going to talk about the materials that we have here. First, I have 2 bags of compost that are 1 cubic foot each. I have 3 bags of topsoil that are also 1 cubic foot, so that's a total of 3 cubic foot of topsoil, 2 cubic feet of compost, and I have a bale of peat moss, which is 3 cubic foot. Now you need a total of 8 cubic feet to put in a 4 foot by 4 foot by 6 inch deep bed. There are a lot of online calculators you can use to figure out how much soil you need to fill a specific size of bed. But for our purposes, we're doing the 4 foot by 4 foot bed. In the lumber, I bought untreated 8 foot long pieces of wood by 6 inch deep. Now 6 inches is the minimum that you're going to want to have in depth. Preferably you want to have at least 8 inches, but anywhere from 6 to 8 inches, and some people prefer more like 12 inches so they don't have to bend over as much. So we have cut these 8 foot pieces into 4 foot each, and then you want to have a drill and some screws. So next we are going to prep the site that we're going to put the bed on. So here I just put up some flags that I measured off 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. You have a couple options on prepping the soil. So here I scalped it with a weed eater, and as you can see, scalped it down to bare ground. You can also do this with a push mower at the lowest setting, or you can take a shovel and just scalp that top layer off. So basically I just pull the top layer of grass off and then toss that out to the side. So then you're at least down to bare soil, and then we will build the raised bed next. So now I have my 4 foot by 4 foot bed placed on the ground that we have scalped. And next I'm going to pre-drill a hole in one end so that I can get the screws in. So I got my bit here, I'm gonna pre-drill the hole. And then now I'm going to put the screw in. For the purposes of this video, I'm using 2 different screwdrivers, but obviously you'd be just using one with 2 different drill bits. Okay, so you're going to repeat that on all 4 corners. And then one option you have, I don't normally do this, but it does add extra, I guess, strength to the bed, is you can add this little 4x4 post to each corner, and it just strengthens up the bed a little bit, but that's something you don't have to do. So now I'm going to add the soil to the bed. As you can see here, I've put down some newspaper, which is always a good idea to make a barrier between the grass on the bottom that could potentially come up and then the soil. So if you can put some kind of layer of newspaper or cardboard or something that's going to break down, that's always a good idea. So now I'm going to put in my compost. I'm going to throw everything in and then just mix it up at the end. In. Now peat moss gives you that good aeration that helps if you just have topsoil in there. Sometimes it can be pretty heavy soil. It doesn't give the roots as good oxygen as something light like peat moss that you can add into it. And then once I get all of that out of there, I'm basically just going to take a shovel and kind of mix that all together till I create a good blend, and then I'll spread it all out in there, and that is the soil. So now that we have all of the soil mixed up, I've leveled it off and it's ready to plant. The reason that I use the peat moss and the topsoil and the compost versus just buying bags of garden soil is because it's more cost effective. So the garden soil is usually anywhere from about $8 a bag, and I think the bags were only about 1.5 cubic feet. So I figured out it'd be about double the cost of what I spent on soil here. This bed here was $30 in soil and around $8 in wood. The wood is untreated, and that is because it's cheaper than treated wood. And then some people don't want to use pressure treated because of possible chemicals leaching into the soil. And although there haven't been studies showing it going into the soil and coming up into the plants, some people just prefer not to use it. And if you're just getting started, untreated wood is a cheaper option, and it lasts anywhere from 5 to 6 years. So if you want to move up in size, this is what we did on the 4 foot bed. You can go up to an 8 foot by 4 foot bed, and then your cost is going to be about $60 in soil, and then the lumber on this was about $12. So 8 foot long by 4 foot. These are untreated and they've been here about 5 years, so you can see the difference here. Now, as far as going up, if I was going to go up to 2 of these beds, I would then probably contact a local landscape company or some place in your area that delivers bulk soil. Because at that point, once you go up to 2 of these, you're going to save a lot of money if you order soil in bulk rather than purchasing it in the bag. Now, as far as materials, you can also use, you can see some cinder blocks over there. You can use those to make your bed, bricks, whatever you have laying around. You don't necessarily have to use wood to contain the raised bed. But some of the pros of having a raised bed are definitely weed control. We have 2 small children and decided to go to raised beds and just added more little by little, and it's really much easier to take care of the weeds. We had a little issue with some of the soil in this area, so if you have issues with soil, it helps build up better soil. And then obviously if you have a small yard and don't have the space for a traditional garden in the ground, this is a great way to go because you can have the small 4 foot by 4 foot bed or the larger 8 foot by 4 foot. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to call your local county extension agent. There's one in every county in Kentucky. We also have some great publications that will help you with getting started on your raised bed, small space gardening in Kentucky, and vegetable gardening in Kentucky. And you can get those resources online or by contacting your local county extension agent. Thank you.